So lads, this is not a great look for the Indiana Fever organization. If you've got Caitlin Clark, the star of the Indiana Fever, she's going and seeing whatever about not seeing the Indiana Fever's doctors. Like, it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Like, I think a lot of players and teams get second opinions. But if you haven't seen here, Stephanie White says there's no update on Caitlin Clark or potential timeline. She met with another doctor.
Is Indiana about to lose the most important player in franchise history? And is anyone over there even paying attention? Because what just happened with Caitlin Clark isn't just about another tough injury. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes drama that blows up teams, ruins legacies, and sends superstars packing. And here's the wild part. Almost nobody saw it coming. Let's set the stage. This season was supposed to be the year the Indiana Fever climbed back from the basement. They had Caitlin Clark, the ultimate generational talent, breaking TV ratings records, dragging old fans out of hiding, selling out every arena like a Taylor Swift tour.
Pretty much kind of leaked out the bag to the team that she was kind of going to get a second opinion. To me, an athlete like Caitlin Clark on her level, she should have been getting these second opinions. She should have been hearing from all these other doctors, man. But Stephanie White spoke to the media yesterday. She really didn't give a whole lot, but she did say that Caitlin Clark was in New York meeting with other doctors. Now, with all of that being said, what does the timetable look like to me for Caitlin Clark coming back? I keep telling y'all, around the 17th to the 30th of August.
Bigger than the game, bigger than the sport. But as August rolls around, she's not hitting threes or waving to fans. She's silent. Not just with the public, not just with the media. Caitlin Clark is ghosting her own medical staff. And when word got out, the internet absolutely exploded. You'd expect rumors after an injury, that's just sports. But this is different. This is staring down the cold reality that your franchise is falling apart, and the star you bet everything on just might walk away. Because Caitlin Clark's not only off the court, she's taken her recovery into her own hands, and the Indiana Fever have no idea what's happening with their best player. The Rift is watching a generational superstar slam the door on her own trainers. It started like every cold news day in pro basketball. Reporters crowd around Indiana's new head coach, Stephanie White, asking about Clark's status. How's she feeling? When will she be back?
She has met with a different doctor. And she won't even give an update to the team. Not, oh yeah, she's met with a different doctor and we're waiting on an update. She's waiting, or not even, well, that's basically it. They're waiting on, she's gone to a different doctor.
And all White can do is shrug and admit, I haven't even talked to the trainers, I don't know. Let that sink in for a second. The highest selling athlete in your league, the reason your franchise is on the sports map at all, is out. And nobody in charge knows what's going on with her health. The look on White's face says it all. She's just as in the dark as the fans. Even the doctors who are supposed to be handling Clark's rehab aren't so sure anymore. If you think the Fever are running a tight ship, think again. But why? How did things get this messy, this fast? The answers paint a much darker picture for Indiana than they want the world to see. First, the timeline's a medical disaster. Let's lay out the facts.
Caitlin Clark. Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time.
May 3rd, Clark, still working back from a long college season, skips Indiana's preseason opener because of soreness in her left leg. Everybody shrugs. Rookie wear and tear, right? But then, on May 26th, she misses the first regular season game of her pro career. Diagnosis, left quad strain. That's one soft tissue injury barely a month in. The confusion starts here, with nobody really sure how bad it is, or how long she'll be out. Then June arrives. Clark misses 5 straight games, this time with a left groin injury. Just being careful, the team says, but fans start getting nervous. She'd never missed a game in college, not for anything. Suddenly, she's sidelined for a nagging injury that, for most young superstars, would never even come up. But okay, they want her back strong. They rush rehabilitation, stay optimistic. July 4th, Independence Day. But Caitlin Clark's return to the court doesn't bring fireworks. Instead, she tweaks her groin again, another setback. The team, feeling the heat from fans and media, pushes her forward anyway. Fast forward to July 15th. Fever are playing the Connecticut Sun, almost making a statement game, until it happens again. Clark pulls up lame, grabbing her right groin this time, frustration written all over her face.
Something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no practice time, which if that's actually true, like if she wasn't practicing, if she wasn't going full speed, then why was she returning to the court? And that's actually something that I pointed out. I believe it was Scott Agnes reported that Caitlin had gone full speed in practice, but there was only one practice that she had gone full speed. And
she limps off the court and it's crystal clear. This isn't just an unlucky streak, it's terrifyingly routine. For someone who's built her entire reputation on durability, something is broken. That night in the locker room was a turning point. Reports leak that Clark is furious, not just about being hurt, but about how she's being handled. Sources say she's deeply frustrated with the team's medical staff. So what does she do? Caitlin Clark doesn't just wait for their advice. She heads straight to New York, consulting some of the top sports doctors in the country, reportedly without telling the Fever what the new doctors find. When she returns, she refuses to update her own trainers. For Indiana, it's a slap in the face. It gets uglier. The media begins drawing parallels to Kawhi Leonard with the Spurs, a superstar who completely lost faith in his franchise's ability to keep him healthy, eventually forcing his way out. That's the last thing Indiana needs, but the similarities are impossible to ignore. Clark, like Kawhi, is tired of being rushed. Tired of being treated like a role player with disposable legs. And when someone with her profile loses trust, that's rarely fixable. Let's pause for a second. Just how rare is this? Clark went her entire college and rookie season without missing a single game. 4 muscle injuries in 3 months, once she's with Indiana. Left groin, right groin.
Much worse than expected. You know, these type of injuries and the way she's been getting these injuries is not normal. To have these strains back to back to back like this, and I said this before, Caitlin Clark's mobility is off, bro. I believe she might have came back too fast from the first. We all know the first one went down around the 25th of May.
Left quad. 4 different times she's sidelined. Rushed back just to get hurt again. How does that happen to the youngest, healthiest body in the league? Meanwhile, weird details start coming to light. During one TV broadcast, Holly Rowe mentions Clark had no practice time before returning to games after her quad injury. Some insiders say she had just a single full-speed session before risking it all on the court. Clark is famous for loving the grind. But this time, it seems like she's forced herself back, either by the team's pressure, her own competitiveness, or both. The gamble backfires. Before she can even get her groove, she re-injures herself. Another soft tissue strain, another DNP on the stat sheet. Social media pounces. This is medical mismanagement, fans tweet. She's being used like a workhorse, then blamed when her body can't keep up. The mood swings hard against Indiana's trainers and coaching staff, painting them as clueless at best, negligent at worst. And then comes the moment that changes everything. A viral photo surfaces. Clark, her agent, and New York Liberty's head coach Sandy Brondello, deep in conversation with Liberty's 2 biggest stars right after a Fever Liberty game. Not a handshake line, not a friendly chat. This is Clark and her team, sleeves rolled up, apparently talking business with a rival franchise in full view. Say it with me, that never, ever happens in the WNBA, unless something seismic is brewing behind the scenes. Analysts compare the optics to NFL quarterbacks meeting with opposing coaches mid-contract. Players, coaches, even rival GMs admit, when you see a franchise player talking in private with star power like that, it's usually an early sign. A huge one. Indiana's response? Panic behind closed doors, and denial in public. Stephanie White tries to steer the blame back onto basketball. We need Caitlin to play multiple roles, but Clark is done being a pawn. Reports swirl that she's stopped communicating with team doctors altogether. She's flying her own specialists in, keeping her recovery timetable a secret from everyone in the organization. Even updates to head coach and GM come secondhand after the fact. So what does this all mean for the Fever? For the league? The stakes could not be higher. If Caitlin Clark walks,
is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff, trainers, doctors, none of that. She's seeing her own medical doctors, her own team. That's the only good news of today. She has abandoned the Indiana Fever medical staff, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. She's pulling a Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the San Antonio Spurs, letting it be known, hey, look, I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready. I'm going with my own medical staff. Y'all can beat it, kick rocks, and I stand with you, Caitlin Clark.
the financial and reputational damage might last a generation. She's more than a player, she's a movement. When she's on the court, the ratings skyrocket. Arena attendance doubles. Young fans show up in droves, ready to buy anything with her name on it. She's the Steph Curry of the WNBA, and losing her would hurt a whole lot more than just the bottom line. On top of that, this isn't even about money. Clark's made the Fever relevant again, brought them playoff hopes, shined a national spotlight. And how did the franchise return the favor? By forcing her back too soon, refusing to tailor a system to her strengths, and tossing around blame like it's gym socks. It's the oldest mistake in the playbook, alienating the one person you desperately need to keep happy. Look at the numbers. When Clark plays, Indiana's got a fighting chance every night. Historic rookie statistics, top 5 in assists, endless highlight reels, proof that she's already the most valuable player in the building. But miss her presence even for a week and the whole organization looks lost. Losses pile up, the energy drowns, and fans check out. Yet the problems run deeper than just medical trust. It's about respect. The new coach, Stephanie White, came in with a decorated resume, but almost immediately she tried to make Clark change.
This is how it starts in sports. This is how it starts in the NFL. This is how it starts in the NBA. When you start seeing the wheels in motion, there's signs. There's signs before eventually a player gets traded. A player eventually marks their next destination. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice. You're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you do whatever you have to do to correct what is happening.
Her game. Play more off the ball, White announced. Share ball handling. For a superstar who thrives with the ball in her hands, those comments didn't just miss the point. Fans say they missed the whole sport. You don't take the ball away from Magic Johnson because the defense is tough. You don't bench Michael Jordan because he's double-teamed. And no one wants to see Clark relegated to a glorified spot-up shooter, cashing threes from the corners. The rift widened. Teammates, former coaches, and fans start speaking out. You build the team around Clark, not the other way around. Christy Sides, the old coach, understood that much. She let Clark handle the ball, run the tempo, break records on her own terms. But White seems determined to remake the team in her image. System first, superstar second. The results? Stagnant offense, confused rotations, and one player quietly losing faith in the project. And Clark herself? She's no villain here. Every public quote is measured, professional. Being a pro is about managing your body and your mind, she says at a fan event.
WNBA team that have been very, very, very much in, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty. I think there is a 50-50 chance Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana after her rookie season. No, after rookie season, after.
I'm learning it's a journey. She hides the anger, buries the frustration, but anyone paying close attention to her body language can read it instantly. The towel over the head, the long looks on the sideline, the refusal to make eye contact with coaches. She knows and the world knows this is her prime. She's 23, at the top of her physical game, and these are the years that will define her legacy. Every missed week isn't just another rest day, it's a lost chance to add to her legend. And in the shadows, everyone's asking, how long will she stick around for more of this? Because here's the secret Fever fans don't want to say out loud. Clark's rookie contract is all that stands between Indiana and a full-blown disaster. Once that deal's up, does anyone really believe she'll sign back on? The Liberty have already made their interest clear. League insiders say they're crafting the perfect role for her, competent management, big market exposure, and a supporting cast ready to chase titles. Clark's not bluffing. With every quiet move, every icy meeting, she's setting up the ultimate power play. Meanwhile, Indiana's system-first philosophy isn't just outdated, it's self-sabotage. The old-school mentality says superstars come and go, but systems remain. But in the modern game, superstars are the system. You give them the ball, listen to their needs, and make every other decision revolve around keeping them happy, healthy, and hungry for more. Instead, the Fever faces a breaking point. If they lose Clark, it'll echo for years. Lost revenue, cratered attendance, stalled growth for women's basketball in Indiana. The league can't afford to send its biggest name elsewhere. Not right now, not after the momentum of the past season. All this points to one truth. It's never just about an injury. What's happening with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever is about trust snapped, respect lost, and the invisible power dynamics that make and break sports dynasties. It's about a franchise on the edge and a player who's bigger than the system she's trapped in. Through it all, one giant question looms over Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Will Indiana wake up and finally build everything around the best player they've ever had? Or will they do what so many franchises before them have done and lose her to someone who knows exactly what to do with a once-in-a-generation superstar? Because if they don't fix it, and fast, Caitlin Clark won't have to say a word. The next time she walks away from the court, she might not come back. The clock is ticking, and nobody knows what'll happen next.